Good evening, mate. Tonight I'm going to discuss a game I just played again, ilhansamsun. Um, the idea why I would like to discuss this game is because, in my opinion, it's a very interesting game. And let's just have a look at the game. Um, I think the topic that I want to bring here is actually if you are making a mistake in the beginning and you want to do some counter attack or revenge, just be careful and do it with calculation. And also the other thing is you need to sort of make a opportunity to check your opponent, especially when you sort of don't know what your opponent is trying to do. So let's just have a look at this game from the opponent's perspective, which is what I don't usually do. So ilhansamsun was black and I was white, and let's just see it from the opponent perspective. So I move f4 and then d5, which is a Dutch variation of bird's opening, and then knight goes to f3, knight goes to c6, e3, which is of course the standard bird opening. Now my opponent is moving e5 here, which is, I believe it's a mistake because so this is the mistake that I was talking about. So yeah, I just took it with a pawn, and then of course probably my opponent was mixed up between the king and the queen or something like that, which is common in the beginning. You just start playing, and then yeah, knight takes e5, and I took back using my knight. So I'm winning by one knight, and my opponent has to uh, was was probably angry. Ilhansamsun was probably angry, so he moved his her or his bishop to d6, and then I just moved my knight back. And from here is all, chasing and then doing some revenge, chasing the material back, I suppose. And but the thing that I like is actually ilhansamsun is focusing its attack into the king's area, so it's not too bad. So that's why I enjoy this game, and I want to bring it up. So bishop goes to g4, pinning the knight, because there is a queen behind it, and I just break the pin using bishop goes to e2. And from here, I suppose knight goes to f6, trying to protect the bishop in case there is some in case my knight moves or something like that. And I castle king side, which because that's the bird's opening basically. Yeah, castle king side, and h5 was moved here, which is solidifying the bishop there, I suppose. And from here I just move c4. C4 here is to distract distract black's attention, as well as trying to open up an opportunity to check the king, because queen can go to h4, and there will be a check. Sorry, that's not h4, that's a4. Queen can go to a4 to have a check. And from here the next move is, black doesn't stop marching for the pawn keeps marching, and probably it wants to sort of destroy my king's defense, which is a good attempt, and I really appreciate that. So c takes d5, which I sort of like. h3, as you can see, it keeps marching, and then from here I just block it, which is move g3. And black should have taken the pawn at d5 there, but instead, which I appreciate, knight goes to e4, just trying to attack my defense basically. So as far as I understand, it wants to break down the pawn at h and the pawn at g, which is protecting my king. And it's actually fantastic if the next move didn't happen, but unfortunately, as you can see in the diagram, there is an opportunity to check and also skewer, I suppose. Is that the right word? Yeah, double attack the knight at e4. So the knight wants to go to take g3. That's the plan. And if something like pawn takes, there will be bishop, and then it will be very strong, I suppose. Um, the idea was to attack there and sort of try to bring all the pieces focused together. But unfortunately, there is this move, which is queen goes to a4 check, and from here it can be seen that the knight is lost because it cannot cover uh, the attack, and as suggested, maybe only bishop can cover, but the knight still lost. So what did black do here? Black moved to f8, and of course I took the knight. And from here it's all about revenge, I suppose. F5 doesn't want to move its bishop there, trying to attack the queen at the same time, as well as defending, which is a good thing. However, can you believe it or not, this rook is actually eyeing the king at f8 and bringing this pawn forward from f7 to f5 is not quite wise defensively, because as you know, it's an x-ray to the king, and of course if I just move my knights, simply it's just going to break the defense down. However, I sort of think that it's not necessary to do any advancement on that pin yet. So the pawn here is actually practically pinned if I move my knight, but let's just move my queen to d4 there, just trying to avoid that. And then of course here comes the brutality. Queen takes g3, a sacrifice, another sacrifice. So the knight was lost, and then another knight was lost. So in the beginning the knight was mistakenly lost, and then because of the check recently by the queen, the knight is actually skewered and lost. And now this is a bishop sacrifice, which is pretty good. I mean, I enjoy that. Bishop sacrifice done by black. Dark square bishop is sacrificed. I took it with my pawn, and here uh, the bishop also is exchanged with the knight, and I just took it using my bishop there. So, and black move its pawn forward again, and I simply, so it's h2, and I simply move my king to h1 to stop the pawn. And I'm pretty confident of that because I think my bishop is at f3, and especially at the diagonal from h1 to a8, so it's pretty okay, I suppose. And I just have to think about how should I continue this game. So from here queen goes to g5, which is, I suppose, trying to attack the pawn at g3, and I simply can move my bishop to g4 as suggested, because the pawn at f cannot take, because it's gonna be it's actually pinned by the rook. But I didn't do that. I simply kicked the queen away by moving my queen to f4. I suppose I want to keep, my idea is actually to keep this rook here to sort of guard the back rank, and also while I'm actually bleeding in pieces, I just move my queen there, because if there is an exchange it'll be okay for me. My weakness, I suppose, is my minor pieces at the queen side is not developed yet, and it has to be developed uh, to win the game. So what happened here was queen was kicked to g6 because it's scared, I suppose. And now I want to develop my pieces further, and I realized that there is a threat of sorry, what I mean is I can utilize the pin of the pawn at f5, so I just moved my e pawn forward, and of course the king doesn't like it because it's actually being pinned, so it has to move away. And e takes f5 is actually another tempo winning move, I suppose, because it's actually attacking the queen, so it's pretty strong basically. And the queen moves to b6 here, which I suppose is the threat is actually very clear. It wants to move to that G area, G1, and but it's actually very safe because there is my rook there. So I'm sort of thankful because of the rook that I keep at the back rank. But of course, the other threat is actually to have rook, black's rook to move to E file, utilizing that open file, and it can sort of make any menace by queen sacrifice or something like that. So from here, because I don't see any immediate threat, I just try to develop my piece there, moving my knight to c3 and then protecting the pawn at d5. And then from here rook goes to e8, and I think this is dangerous, and I can sense there's danger in that. So and I didn't realize what sort of danger it will be. But can you actually guess what sort of danger it is? If I just move, so I'll just show you the game first. I feel that I have to make sure that I can keep attacking and also check the king. And I just move my pawn to d6 there. I don't mind losing a pawn for an exchange because um, it's just a pawn and I have won a lot of materials. And can you believe what actually so the main idea here to bring this pawn forward is to be able to move my bishop, my light square bishop, to d5, which is an opportunity to check my king. And from there, if it's actually cannot be covered, it's gonna be all over. If the king moves to h6, for example, I can simply move my queen um, to h4. I will show it, but then later. Anyway, queen moves to f2 there, which is extremely dangerous. You know, have I not actually moved my pawn there? It's actually extremely dangerous. Let's just say, for example, I just move something, something like that. If the queen moves here, oh, it's still okay. Sorry. For example, something like this. If the queen moves here, it's gonna be all over for me actually. Again, it will harass me. No, it's actually not all over. But basically, it's gonna be not nice. Look at that. The rook can advance forward. I want to prevent all of this to happen, okay? I don't like this. So what happens is d6. And then what I did was, sorry, what queen did was that. And I simply say that, thank God I opened that. I moved my pawn from d5 to d6. So there will be a discovered queen attack and check at the same time. And from here, basically, uh, king has to move to f8, and I took this queen, and it's basically from here actually black resigned. So that's a menace, I suppose. Like let's just see if for example, I forget to realize that I took it with the rook, and then suddenly there is a check, and I have to cover it back, and it's a checkmate. It's a shame actually to have this kind of thing. Yes, it will be a very very big shame if this happened. But luckily, I did realize that I shouldn't. I should make an opportunity to check my opponent and to sort of keep attacking. And the queen didn't take that. Queen actually goes there and it forgets that I have this move. Bishop goes to d5 check, and it's all over for black, because possible continuation would be probably pawn takes, and then I simply just move it forward like this, and this moves forward like that. I just keep moving forward. Queen can move forward here, and then of course it will be soon like a mate or something like that. So there you go. This is and queening, two queens, and that's gonna be over very soon. That's a checkmate. So it's beautiful if that happens, but basically it's all over since black didn't realize that I still have a check. So it's very important to have if you are in doubt and you cannot see what your opponent's plan is, and which is very tactical, and you don't want to sort of compromise your position, you want to do it your way. It's better to have an opportunity to check your opponent, and then from here just basically fantastic. It's a discovered attack to the queen and then check, and black's queen's drop. So thank you so much for watching this, and I suppose I'll see you next time. Bye bye.